Today is 28th of May 2022, and we're here for the Remnants of Hope Permastealth Workshop led by Merb,
Hello,
who
hello.
has conquered all of the WvW maps and led us to
Uh,
victory in garrisons and keeps all over the mist. So, over to you, Merb.
yeah, so the first thing that we're going to do here is I'm going to post my build in chat. If you're in squad, please go ahead and load that up. Your gear doesn't matter except for the fact that you need a rifle. Its stats don't matter at this point. And you need to have these traits. Otherwise, you will not be able to maintain 100% stealth uptime. Because stealth is not technically a boon, you don't need any boon duration or anything like that. So it's handy dandy. All that matters is like your actual like equipment that's equipped, i.e. like based on the skills that you need required and the traits set up for it. So the first thing to note in this build is that you have 8 ways to apply stealth on demand. You are only going to use about 7 of those. The 8th one is kind of for emergencies, and that's actually going to be your shadow portal. It can give you stealth if you need it, but it's a big telegraph. So generally we try not to use that for hiding purposes. The first way to apply stealth is going to be, well, Princess just disappeared somewhere, so that's not very helpful. So the first way to apply stealth is actually going to be using your deadeyes mark. So your deadeyes mark, actually, when you apply it to someone, you go invisible.
Acquire the target dummy.
So that is one way to apply stealth. You'll get about 1 to 2 seconds of stealth from it. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add it as part of your rotation, it adds up. Do be advised that enemies can see that mark on them. So if you're hiding in a keep, it's generally not recommended you put it on, like, for example, a canary, because then they'll be like, what the hell was that? However, you can put it on, and you can. There are some certain NPCs and stuff you can put it on where people are less likely to notice. I have noticed cannons, so you can put it on siege. So
Ooh.
you can put it on cannons. You can put it on oil. And generally, they're most likely not to notice that nearly as much. And in addition, if you put it on outside siege, then there's no guarantee that it means it came from a spy on the inside. So that is going to be your first way to apply stealth. It won't necessarily be the one that you use all the time, but it is handy to know you have it. If we're just moving across our skill bar, one of the other ways to apply stealth is if you have your rifle out, if you hit your 5, you'll crouch, and then you can hit 4. You can stand up by hitting 5, and you can hit 4 again. So if you do the timing right, you'll drop a smoke field, and you should be able to do 2 jump backs before the field disappears. So it is generally recommended that when you do this, a lot of times you would do it with your back against a wall, and that way you don't jump back, and instead the field stays right at your feet. So this can be risky though. Do be advised. So for example, I'm going to give myself stealth here, right? But if you use the jump back when near an enemy, it does apply poison, which does reveal you. So just be cautious when using this to apply stealth, because if you use it and there's an enemy nearby, then of course you'll be seen. Now, Princess, if you could be so kind, can you make yourself invisible? So go ahead and use your heal skill, and then go ahead and drop that field at your feet. If you notice, Princess at least is my enemy. You can still see all particle effects while the person is invisible. So this means even if you're stealth and you're running around an enemy keep, if you were to drop this out in the middle of their keep, a more experienced player will know that, hey, that is an enemy. It's even more so in Roll v World. because enemy particle effects are highlighted in a red aura to indicate that they are an enemy particle effect and not a friendly one. So that means any particle effect that we drop while doing our moves can be seen by the enemy. You will still be invisible, but they will see those particle effects. So just something to note to self. You still generally want to do these things while hidden in a corner and out of sight of people, so that way they cannot see them. So, moving across our skill bar, if we're going from left to right, this might seem weird, but our next way to go invisible is if you have a rifle equipped, whenever you dodge, you'll gain invisibility. So that is because of the trait Silent Scope. So as long as you have a rifle, if you dodge, you gain invisibility.
I'll be alright. Soon.
Do keep in mind that this is much shorter, and actually World v World, I believe most stealth durations have been reduced by 1 second in World v World. So while practicing in the guild hall is good experience, when we actually go to a Borderlands, your stealth uptimes will be reduced. But it's good practice to at least be able to practice your rotation, because it will be very similar. So that one's very simple. If you are perma-stealthing, you're pretty much just going to always just be dodging as soon as it comes off cooldown. So yeah. Then the next one we have is our heal skill, Hide in Shadows. This one's actually very strong. It gives you a long duration stealth, simply because we have, which trait? This one. So Concealing Restoration. So this trait, Concealing Restoration, does stack with the stealth it already gives you, meaning you gain about 7 to 9 seconds of stealth just by using your heal skill.
Nothing can bring me down.
So yeah, it is a really, really, really good long one. That's something to keep in mind. Now moving across your skill bar, again, we will have the portal. This is going to be the one stealth that is very situational. While you can use it to gain stealth, as you can see, this is a very big telegraph. They will see this. However, the nice thing is you can use it to stack stealth, because you can go through it multiple times. Now, Princess, you are an enemy to me. Why don't you go ahead and lay down your portal? So, well, yeah. So in case you are curious, you can see the enemy's portals when they are laid. So that means, again, you don't necessarily want to lay down your, right here, you can see a faint little circle of where a trap is. You do not know what that trap is, but there is a faint outline, so enemies can technically see where you lay your portal before you open it. This is something to keep in mind. So you don't necessarily want to lay portals out in the open. You still want to slightly hide them or put them off the beaten path. Otherwise, expect when you portal back into a keep or something, there will be about 7 Dragon Hunter traps waiting for you. It does not matter how much tankiness you have. As a thief, you will not survive that. So it's just something to note. Probably the get out of jail for free card stealth is going to be the next one. That's going to be your 8 skill, Blinding Powder. So if you get dismounted, if you get knocked down, if you get pulled, this is most likely going to be the first one you use. This is simply because of how fast it is. So if you are scouting, if you are following an enemy and all of a sudden they immediately turn on you and you're like, oh no, that's going to be the one you use. It does not last a very long time. I believe in World v World it's still only 2-3 seconds, while here it's 4. The advantage of that is it gets you invisible while you're able to use your longer stealths that have channels, for example, your heal. So you could use your Blinding Powder, go straight to your heal, get some distance by double dodging away, and then you can start doing your longer stealths that require things like laying down your zone and backstepping, things like that. So it's going to be your oh no button. After you use your oh no button, you'll get some distance, and that should cover you and protect you while you use your stealths that need channeling. Your best stealth, and there's a little asterisk there, is going to be your Shadow Refuge. So this is going to give you about 15 to 17 seconds of stealth. That is huge. But as you can see here, Princess, who is our enemy, when she used Out of Refuge, there was a giant red bubble and circle on the field. You can see, enemies can see your Shadow Refuge very easily. If you were just to drop this like right on top of Lord, they'll probably notice. It doesn't help that it has like a giant little house on it to let you know, like, hey, there's a house there. But it does provide you with a very, very, very long duration stealth. So, generally speaking, this is going to be what keeps you stealth for a very long period of time while your other skills come on cooldown. But however, you'll generally be wanting to use your other skills to get you to a safe location before you use it. One of the tips and tricks that you can use with this skill is to abuse clipping. Because it is an AoE skill, you can clip it into objects, so therefore technically you can hide about half of the skill's animation. At the same time, yeah, you can put it on walls and things like that. It's especially useful in caves and little cubbies like this where you can just throw it on the wall. And if you know the enemy is coming from a certain direction, instead of it sticking out all the way out here, for example, it might only stick out halfway. It just reduces the chances that you'll be seen. A good thing to note when using the skill, if someone has it on cooldown, can you use it? Perfect. Now go ahead and back out of it. If you leave that circle before the skill finishes channeling, you will be revealed. That is huge. So when you use that skill, you need to commit to it. That can be very scary, especially if there's enemies nearby, because if you leave, you'll be revealed. The bad thing about revealed is it does not care if you have 1 second of stealth or if you have 20 seconds of stealth. You will lose all of them as soon as you are revealed. So that can be very painful when using a skill like that, right? If you get yourself up to 18 seconds of invisibility, and then all of a sudden you get revealed, and then now all of a sudden you don't have any cooldowns, and you're kind of stuck out in the open for a bit. However, that then takes us to our last skill, which I always suggest. So you can use one of these charges. As you notice, it does have ammo, which is fantastic. That is great. However, I always recommend keeping yourself at 1 ammo for emergencies. This is simply because this last skill, Shadow Meld, it removes the revealed condition. So I'll go ahead and make myself invisible here, and then I'll shoot Princess, giving myself revealed. I can use Shadow Meld. It immediately moves revealed, and it makes me invisible again. Now, this is pretty awesome. So that means if you get knocked out of your Shadow Refuge or something like that, you can go invisible again. However, do keep in mind it does not remove like target painter traps. Like you are still marked. If there is a watchtower on a tower, it will not get rid of that marked, and it will not get rid of RI. However, it will still make you invisible for about 2 to 3 seconds. So this is important because like if you are in a keep and you know that it's a little bit hot while you're hiding inside, if you teleport inside, RI reveal doesn't trigger for about 1 to 2 seconds, so you have about at least 1 to 2 seconds to, do whatever you need to do. You will be revealed by RI or the watchtower or whatever's there, and then you can use Shadow Meld, and while it doesn't remove the mark status, it will get rid of your revealed, and it will allow you to go invisible for about another 2 seconds. That doesn't seem like a lot. It isn't a lot, but sometimes it's just enough to get you out of there alive, or do whatever you have to do to lay your portal down, or anything like that. So, in addition, while being revealed isn't nice, refreshing the revealed timer can be. And that is because, let me find it, there is a trait that we have, which is pretty nice. But essentially, while we are revealed, we have damage reduction. You should have 33% damage reduction while you are revealed. And I'm trying to find which trait has that, so I can ping it to you all. But yes, you should have 33% damage reduction while you are revealed. which is phenomenal. Oh, here we go. Flickering shadows. So, generally you don't want to be revealed, but if you are, and if you are marked, for example, you can still use your stealth skills to go invisible, for example. Like if you're not revealed and if you have RI on you, you can still use like your heal skill. You'll still go invisible for about a second before getting revealed, but that revealed will give you damage reduction. So it is just something to keep in mind. So, that is all of the skills that you have in order to go stealth. And kind of the cautions with them, like for example, if you use your back step while next to someone, you'll be revealed, stuff like that. Oh, the very last tip I would suggest if you are trying to go permastealth is disable your auto attack. Sometimes the AI programming is really bad in this game. You might be attacking a target, do a dodge, it will still register your attack, and then immediately fire again and give you the revealed status. So, if you are trying to go permastealth, I do recommend turning off your auto attack, so that way it doesn't reveal you. So, do we have any questions on any of that? I know it's a lot of information, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate.
How do I turn off auto attack?
That is a great question. So if you actually hover over a skill, do you see at the very, 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 very bottom, do you see where it says like control plus mouse 2?
Yes.
That is how you will enable or disable auto attack. Technically speaking, you can put auto cast on any spell. You can only have it on one spell at a time. So most people just put it on their first one, but you can click to enable or disable it at will just by
Oh,
control.
okay. Great.
Mouse clicking too. No, that is a great question. Do we have any more questions?